And Jesus said, "I'm thirsty." After this, Jesus perceived in spirit, everything is now nearing its goal and fulfillment, and, so that the word of Scripture should be accomplished, he said, "I'm thirsty." There was a jar of vinegar standing there, and they soaked a sponge in vinegar, fixed it around a hyssop branch, and held it to his mouth. As we wait here, in these final hours of Jesus' life, it becomes increasingly difficult, distressing, almost unbearable at times, to remain witness to what we see. It's difficult to watch another human being suffering, 3 human beings here suffering. But if we ask for the grace of God to give our hearts a stability and a courage to bear witness, and if we ask for ears to hear and eyes to see, it may be that we begin to understand that in these final words of Jesus, we are being instructed, we are being taught, we are being drawn in, we are being shown what the kingdom of heaven is like, and that it's here already present, even in the chaos and carnage of Golgotha and the agony of watching him die. So what might it be that he is showing us, offering us when he cries out, "I am thirsty"? From Psalm 22, the prophecy that his dying fulfills. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax, it has melted away within me. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. In this prayer that Jesus gives us, 2 things seem clear. The first and most obvious is that Jesus is at the end of himself. In death, life narrows down, the world becomes small. Our possessions become unnecessary. Food becomes something that we no longer need. And we're carried by the breath. Thirst is sometimes the last thing. And here Jesus is facing the last thing. He is coming to the edge of his own extremities, the capacity of a human being to suffer and to continue. He is at the margins. And in his calling out of thirst, we hear a fellow human being. He is perhaps showing us that when we too come to the edges of ourselves, when we look at the world and see people living at the margins of society, at the uttermost limitations of their endurance, people who are starving for want of a meal, people who are thirsting for want of clean water, people who are thirsting for want of a job, of a part to play in society, of an identity. We may thirst ourselves, but many around us thirst in ways that we may never understand. And already Jesus has given us one to the other. We belong to the other. So when he tells us that he thirsts, he reminds us that he is already where we come to when we come to the end of ourselves. There is a comfort in discovering that we thirst. For when we discover it, we discover that he is there, thirsting with us. So whether our thirst is physical, whether it's spiritual, moral, whether it's psychological, emotional, we can be sure that Jesus is with us in our longings and in our emptiness and in our hollowness. This Jesus of Nazareth is a Son of Man. He is like us in every way. But in the mystery of this prayer on the cross, Jesus is equally and fully divine. He is the Son of God. So as he comes to the edge of himself thirsting, he is also the one that stands saying, I am the water of life. Those who come to me and drink will have a well from within themselves bubbling up, a well that never dries, that pours out and becomes consolation for all. This is the kingdom of heaven. This is what we are called to. This is what we are invited into. And Jesus is with us in our humanity, and he calls us into the divine life of his Father. And here, as he cries out in his thirst, he reminds us that he is also the source of life. For those who become thirsty and call out in need, he always provides. This is his gift in thirsting and being the water of life. So in these last hours, as we wait with him, perhaps we can ask ourselves, where am I thirsty? Where am I dry? Where am I barren? What is hollow in me? Where am I empty? And already you are here in my hollowness. You know what it's like to be this dry and empty. And I come to you, the one who is also the source of everything I need. Give me the courage, the humility to drink and to find you at the edge of myself. I'd like to close this meditation with a blessing written by Nadia Bolz-Weber, Episcopal priest and writer, based on the Beatitudes. A blessing of Jesus in these last hours to us. Blessed are the agnostics. Blessed are they who doubt, those who aren't sure, who can still be surprised. Blessed are they who are spiritually impoverished, and therefore not so certain about everything that they no longer take in new information. Blessed are those who have nothing to offer. Blessed are they for whom nothing seems to be working. Blessed are the preschoolers who cut in line at communion. Blessed are the poor in spirit. You are of heaven, and Jesus blesses you. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are they for whom death is not an abstraction. Blessed are they who have buried their loved ones, for whom tears are as real as an ocean. Blessed are they who have loved enough to know what loss feels like. Blessed are the mothers of the miscarried. Blessed are they who don't have the luxury of taking things for granted anymore. Blessed are they who can't fall apart because they have to keep it all together for everyone else. Blessed are the motherless, the alone, the ones from whom so much has been taken. Blessed are those who still aren't over it yet. Blessed are they who laughed again when for so long they thought they never would. Blessed are those who mourn. You are of heaven, and Jesus blesses you. Amen.